to this session on how to ace the humorous speech. A sense of humor is part of the art of leadership, of getting along with people, of getting things done. These are the words of Dwight Eisenhower, who helmed the United States Army and was the 34th President of the United States. A leader with a sense of humor can turn a war into a peace treaty with his wits. I've attempted humor and have fallen flat on my face with the audience reactions many times. To help us all with this graceful art of making others laugh and smile, we have a distinguished Toastmaster who is serving Toastmasters across for the past 20 years. If he was in the army, he will be receiving a pension now. I'm sure, like an army general, he has a lot of medals, trophies, and accolades for his accomplishments and contributions to the organizational excellence in Toastmasters. He was a past district governor, and he currently runs his own enterprise, Align and Equip, to help SMEs scale up. Please put your big hands and turn the spotlight on distinguished Toastmaster TK Ramesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aloysius, for that wonderful introduction. Uh, Unfortunately, I won't be selected in the army because I'm vertically challenged. Um, so thank you. Good morning, District 120. It's nice to be a part of this event and part of you all. Um, I see a lot of my friend, the past friends from the district, Parsarthi, Sundarraman, Armugam, Selva, Aditya, who just had a session, and my good friend Nina John, and my engineering batchmate Joe Srinivasan, who entered just now, and many other people whom I would have met and couldn't recollect. Thank you for having me here today morning, and I thank the district leadership for thinking about me. Because when you are 20 years in Toastmasters, generally you are classified as senior Toastmaster and forgotten. So remembering is something wonderful, and trying to call back is another wonderful gesture. um, I'm going to share my journey in Toastmasters and how Toastmasters shaped my humor, basically. And humor, as you all know, is a serious business. I still remember my Project 2 speech way back in 2001, where I titled it as To Be or Not to Be Humorous, like a typical Shakespearean, right? To be or not to be humorous. Believe me, after I delivered the speech, including me, nobody laughed. So that was the humor I had when I started my Toastmaster career. Of course, I could have a wonderful humorous witty sessions one to one, but what failed to click was when I had one to many. So, what is the difference between a one to one conversation and one to many conversation, which many of us struggle with? The single difference which makes humor work in one to one and doesn't many times happen one to many is the connect with audience. When I say connect, we experience humor uh, in a space and time and an experience which is within our mind. When I have to share this humor to an audience, how do I transport them to that place and make them experience that experience which I had and get that humor? That is the challenge. And when you have 1 hour session, it is possible at least somewhere audience will laugh. When I made the opening remarks, Alashius at least smiled. So I know my day is made. If he smiles once, it's fine. Whereas many times in a 5 to 7 minute speech, how do I make it humorous? That's a struggle for all of us. Um, I remember this, what do you call, sharing by one of the professors in the YouTube. He shared his experience as a principal of a school. He says there was one student in a class who applied leave, who didn't come to the class, and next day he came and promptly gave a leave letter. The teacher looked at the leave letter, it said that my grandmother passed away. He says, grandmother passing away is a sad state. Okay. He admitted him to the class. After 2 months, This kid once again didn't come to the class, and next day he came and gave a leave letter. It said, "My grandmother passed away." The class teacher got upset. Then he took him to the principal. And so, see, last 2 months back, he didn't come to the class. He said he gave a letter as to my grandmother passed away. And after 2 months, he's coming and saying the same reason. Then the principal asked him, "Hey, what is it? Why are you saying the same reason? Don't lie to us. Please tell me." "No, sir, that is my maternal grandmother. This is my paternal grandmother." Then the principal said, "Yeah, possible." Okay, so he admitted. 3 months later, promptly this kid didn't come to the class again. And next day he goes with the letter and it says my grandmother passed away. This time the class teacher could not control his anger. So he took him to the principal this time and said, "Sir, please see this guy. We have to do something." Principal looked at the letter, grandmother passed away. He got furious. This kid is taking us for a ride. He's taking us for granted. Then he shouted, "Hey, please tell the proper reason why you didn't come to the class yesterday. You gave a leave letter which said grandmother passed away 6 months back. 4 months back you gave the same reason. Now you are giving the other reason. You don't know me. You don't know me." The principal was angry and shouting, and the boy said, "Sir, you don't know my grandfather, right?" So many times in our anger and in our simplest of answer, we find humor coming, right? His grandfather was a capable. They had 3 wives, so the third grandmother passed away. So I'm only saying many times in our life how to transport this experience of the principle to the audience is a difficulty for all of us. To understand humor a little, I'm going to share my screen to explain. Uh, where is it? You are able to see my screen? Aloysius, you can respond if you are able to see my screen.
We were able to, but not now. I think you need to share again.
Okay, I'm just sharing. Okay, is it clear now? You are able to see the screen?
Yeah, we can see your presentation.
Yeah. So this is where we struggle, one-to-one and one-to-many. So understand, we have to go to this psychology professor or psychoanalyst, Dr. V.S. Ramchandran, who gave a series of lectures in BBC and compiled it in the form of a book by name Emerging Mind. He talks about science of laughter, how laughter is a science, not actually something which happens just like that. So if you understand the science of laughter, maybe we can incorporate in our speeches or in our sharings or in our discussion, make it happen. So he says, if we can understand why this 3-month-old baby laughs, because you and me can laugh because we have fun, word, slapstick, our life's experience, everything is there. But why does this 3-month-old baby laughs? If you can decode this laughter, I think we have decoded how to bring in laughter. So what he goes on to say is, when a newborn is there, it knows only its mother, and it senses only its mother. It cannot understand or recognize anybody else. His mother also it understands by smell and touch initially. Over a period of time, it recognizes faces. As it reaches 3 months, it recognizes mother's face and anybody whom she has introduced to the baby. Assume this baby is in a cradle and it is not even named, maybe 15, 20 days into this world, and there is this long bearded guy who comes and looks at the baby from the top. The first reaction of the baby is, "Oh, what is this creature? Is it going to hurt me? Because it doesn't look like my mother." Then this person doesn't stop with that. He goes slowly towards the baby in slow motion. And the bearded face becomes bigger and bigger to the baby. As he goes near to the baby, this bearded man says, "Choo choo choo, hi baby," something he says. Then the baby realizes he's not going to hurt me. The minute it realizes he's not going to hurt me, all the built up anxiety in the baby just escapes in the form of an unconscious laughter. This is the science of laughter. So which means when you build an anxiety or an expectation in the minds of an audience to a crescendo, at some point of time, the entire thing gets twisted to the exact opposite conclusion which you have in mind, then the ensuing anxiety gets released in the form of laughter. So this is the science of laughter as per Dr. B.S. Rajchandran. So let's test it, right? So any hypothesis, any scientific thing have to be tested. If you test it, then it makes meaning. If it is not, then it doesn't. So let's look at it. How many of you, we have all, how many of you have been into Mumbai and experienced Mumbai local as a train? So let me stop share and start interacting with you all. Okay. So how many of you can unmute your videos and tell me how many of you have been to Mumbai or been in Mumbai, experienced Mumbai local? You can raise your hand. Um, yeah, the timer raises his hand. I don't know how many more are raising their hand. Yeah, I see Sundaram and my good friend raising their hand. And so, thank you, Joe. I see you. So, well, if you do Mumbai local, for those of you who are not, you can remember the Chennai electric train in the peak hours. Such a crowd, such a crowd. If Chennai electric train has a crowd, Mumbai has 1.5x of that crowd. That's a normal crowd in a Mumbai local train. And the Mumbai local train are such that they don't come at the what you call clear cut time of 8, 8, 5, 8, 10, 8, 11, 50. No, they come at 6:02, 6:07, 6:09, 6:37 on odd times. In one train, if you can accommodate in one compartment, if you can accommodate 75 people, in a peak hour there'll be 250 people. That's a sort of crowd. This is a typical aristocrat ad where somebody stands in front of the compartment, he gets pushed inside, and he stands just near the gate, he pushed outside. That's a sort of crowd. And in such a train, in such a crowd, um, there's one Madrasi. I'm from Chennai, right? One Chennai going in early or late 80s, where there was not even a pager or a mobile, except you book a trunk call somebody in Bombay and tell I'm coming there. So pick me up. So this Chennai guy travels to Mumbai, and somebody is going to pick him up. So his friend there says, get down at Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus or Dadar, get into a Mumbai local and get down at Matunga Road. Get down at the Matunga station and pick you up. So this guy says, very good, yes. So he gets into the Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus, the local Mumbai local, and sits, plonks himself happily because he's got a seat. Because in Chennai you don't get a seat. When you get a seat, you sit on it. As he sits and the train starting to move, he asks the next day, will this train stop at Matunga Road? The person says, it won't stop. It won't stop. So what do I do? How do I get out? And he says, maybe this guy doesn't know, let me ask the next guy. Sir, will this train stop at Matunga Road? That guy says, no, it won't stop. Everybody is saying it won't stop in Matunga. He's tense, he's sweating, fuming, and he's struggling, and he's worried how to get out at Matunga Road because I don't know anything, any other place in Mumbai, and I know only my friend. Finally, seeing this guy's tension and anxiety, one elderly gentleman, spectacle, calls him, hey, come here. Where do you want to get out? Matunga Road. Okay. This train will not stop. This is what all the people are saying. Why are you calling me for that? I'm telling you the same thing. Then he said, no, I've been traveling in this train. This is a fast train. This is not a normal train, so it doesn't stop. That I know. Please tell me what is the solution. He says, but this train, at some point of time when it enters Matunga Road, the signal changes from green to red. When it changes to green, from green to red, the train decelerates. It decelerates to some point where you can jump off the train. This guy says, oh, jump off. I can do that. He says, yes, you can jump off. And I says, okay, I'll do that. But this old man says, I will say jump. You have to jump. Then you have to run in the direction of the train because you may fall down if you stand or run in the opposite direction or turn around. He says, okay, whatever you say, I'll do. I have to get on at Matunga Road. Please tell me. He says, jump and run. I'll say only two instructions. You have to do it. He says, okay, with my life, I'll do it. So the train moves. Every station comes, this guy says, next is Mathura. He says, no, wait, it will come. After a few minutes, the old man says, hey, next is Mathura, get ready. So this guy goes, there will be a bar in the center, right near the door. This guy holds on to that and stands with one leg out. And this old man says, wait, don't jump. As it enters the Mathura station, he could hear the screeching of the wheels, which is deceleration of the train. So the train slowly reducing its speed, and this guy is holding on. The elderly gentleman is waiting to give him inspection. At one point, the elderly gentleman says, jump. This guy jumps. And the elderly gentleman says, run. This guy starts running. He runs, he's so anxious, he runs so fast, he, he goes to the previous compartment in his running, and the people in that compartment think he wants to get into the train and pull him inside the train. Right? So, does the theory work? Right? Any hypothesis has to work, and the theory of V.S. Ramachandran has to work. It works on everybody except Aloysius. He said he cannot laugh, and he's very firm that he will not laugh also. Okay? So now he's smiling. Okay. So this is uh, this is the theory of laughter, and um, you say was nice anecdote is there, but where do I find humor in my life? Is there a way to find humor in my life? Humor is available in your day-to-day life. If you look around, you'll find humor. As I was planning for my session and I was observing Aditya speaking, I could see he was standing and speaking. In my house, I have a table where I can sit and speak. When I stand, I'll go above the screen. Okay, so I thought, how will I stand and speak? Because it was very, very nice. Then I was worrying, I don't have a table which will help me this way. Then for a moment I thought, boss, you are too much assuming about yourself. You need only two big books to be kept under your laptop for your height, and you can speak. Correct? The minute I thought about it, I started laughing. Correct? Humor is available everywhere. Today morning I was getting late and I was getting ready, you know, doing my, removing my beard and all those things. At that time I was wondering, I know Aditya is, clean shaven. In my urgency I can do this. How will Aditya do this? I was thinking about it as I was getting ready. Then I started laughing. If I had time, I would have asked Aditya anyway. So I'm only saying humor is available. It's only how you look at life around you. Can you think about this? There is this Orthodox mom whose daughter is 13 years in a 8th standard. One day this kid comes from the school and says, Mom, I have a question. She didn't even throw her bag, but she's asking a question to the mom. And the mom says, yes, darling, what's the question? How was I born? Then the mom says, you know the big bird stuck? It dropped you. Oh. How were you born? The same bird struck, dropped you. How was grandmother born? Same bird struck, dropped her also. Oh. The kid goes up to her room and the mother goes to the kitchen to make some thing for the kid. Suddenly the mother remembers, of all days, why today this kid started asking me this question? So she tiptoes to the kid's room and peeps into what the kid is writing. The kid is writing, for the last 3 generations, there was no normal delivery in our house. Correct? So, so in your anxiety, you can find humor. Eh? It's not about the mom alone. Even the Orthodox dad has the same problem. On a Sunday morning like this, the dad was sitting in his what do you call easy chair, relaxing in his portico and reading his newspaper. His 14-year-old son was writing something. Suddenly this kid turns, Dad, I have a question. What is that, son? What is sex? The dad was wondering, what is that I can answer to this kid? He says, bunny? Yeah. Rabbit? Yeah. It makes bunnies? Yes. Pig? Yeah. Piglets? Yeah, piglets? Yeah. Cat? Yeah. Your cat makes kittens? Yes. This guy says, Dad, why are you confusing me? I want to fill this application form which says 6 M or F. What do I need to tick? Correct? Many a time in our anxiety in life, okay, we take ourselves seriously and our task lightly. Whenever we take ourselves lightly and our task seriously, yeah, it is becoming lies. Correct? So, um, there is a book written by Dr. Terry Paulson. It says, take your task seriously and yourself lightly. Take your task seriously and yourself lightly. Dr. Terry Paulson, he talks about how humor can be uh, brought in your life. So, what is humor? Um, humor, mm, many of you will ask me, where do I find humor in my life? How do I? It's nice to find jokes, anecdotes, things, but how do I find humor from my own life? If you close your eyes and look at what are the most embarrassing moments of your life, how many times you have made a fool of yourself in your life, correct? If you look at all those things in your life, and if you capture it now as an observer and present it to the audience, you will find there is enough humor in that, right? So humor is something, is an ability of yourself to be an observer of what is happening around you. Because I was only doing my morning shaving, but I could observe myself what I'm doing, connect it with Aditya's tonsured head, and I'm finding humor in it. So how much you can connect and be an observer to what's happening to yourself, that makes humor possible for all of you. So good humorist should be self-confident and he should have an ability to laugh at himself. He should be able to laugh at himself. That's a most important aspect of a humorist. And humorist should avoid perfection. Humorist should avoid delaying. I want to tell a joke, okay? So let me wait till such time I get it perfect. Never it will happen. Correct? I remember our own fellow Toastmaster Rajshekhar, when he started his career as a stand-up comedian. He goes to the college to give his first stand-up comedy show, and he said he gave a joke and he stopped for the audience to laugh, and the audience also stopped. Correct? So I am only saying it can happen. Don't wait for some perfection to happen. You ask every startup comedian, they will have a fair share of story where they say audience never laugh for one session. Next session they could improvise. What works with one audience doesn't work with other audience. It will keep continuously happening. Don't ever worry about it. Just say what you want to say when you want to say. You will slowly get into the groove of becoming humorous. So what are the three ingredients of humor? One is body language and gesture, because that is what can transport the audience to your face. If I am not held that Senbar, if I not talked about how the man's facial gestures are there as he was in the train, you won't travel along with me to the Mumbai local. Because you have only 5 to 7 minutes. In 30 seconds, you have to set the context. Another 30 seconds, you have to say the story. 15 seconds to create a knot in the story. And another 15 seconds to bring a twist in the story. How will you do all these things? So body language and gestures will supplement major part of your storytelling. The second is the word should be very simple, short, and it should be easily understandable to the audience. As I am speaking, you should listen, understand. If you have to refer a dictionary for some word, then my next word is lost. So the audience should never take their eyes and mind from you. They have to look at you always and listen to you. Keep listening, understanding, listening, understanding, listening, understanding. So the word should be simple and short. For people like me, it's easy because I come from a corporation school in Sedapur. It's called the Mandop School. I don't know if people available who knows that place, they know Mandop School is a very famous school for rowdy sheeters. Right? We used to write our exams also with a chaku on the table. So that's the sort of school we were. And English was the atrocious thing. We used to write leave letters also, like as I'm suffering from my sister's marriage, I want leave, you take leave. That's the sort of thing we used to write. Correct. So this is the sort of school I hail from. So I can't have big words, bombastic words, which will be overwhelming, confusing God. All those words I won't have. I have only simple words to say. So the more simple your words are, some people get it by natural upbringing. Some of people like Samir have difficulty finding a simple words to speak. And Sundaram will have more musical words than normal words. So we have our own difficulties. So people like me are gifted basically to use simple words. Correct? So, and the third important thing is the time. You prepare a speech and you have to give a twisting statement at the right moment, because that is where timing comes in. Why big comedians hit? Because they have the timing to give that statement. So you would say, "Boss, this is very nice to talk about. Can you give a demo?" Okay, all these body language gestures and other things are easy. Give a demo. So let me take you to my school days. And as
Ramesh,
I told you,
just a quick note. Can you keep the mic a little closer? There's been
you're not able to
confusion.
hear
Yep, this one. Sorry.
now. Now it is better.
Yep, it's better.
I don't have your voice, unfortunately, Aloysius. You have a better voice. So, okay, I'll do what I can. I'm device challenged also. Okay,
It is better now, actually.
okay. So I don't want this to hang and keep dangling in front of me.
Okay.
But anyway, that is the ultimate thing. Don't take any photographs now. Okay, otherwise it's okay. So, as you know, I hail from Chennai, and in my school days in 10th standard, I used to travel by the Chennai bus. Okay, Pallavan Transport Corporation. And it was in summer, peak summer, it will be crowded. Okay, and the school time is always crowded, and summer it will be sweaty, humid, sultry. It will be sticky, right? You don't want to touch anybody in the bus also. So that's a sort of thing. So you cringe when you get into the bus, but you get used to it over a period of time. Yes or no, any amount of facts and all those things doesn't have effect. You will come back with multiple aroma of all the people around you. That's a sort of thing you get in Palawan Transport Corporation. You get free after getting a ticket. So in such a bus, I'm traveling in my 10th standard. So as I was going in the bus, on that fateful day, there is too much of a crowd, and there was a young lady standing in front of me. My fate, the driver applied brake, and I lurched forward and brushed on the lady in front of me. She looked at me. I said, "Sorry, ma'am." She said, "Okay." So once again, the bus started moving, and I also started moving. So once again, the driver applied brake, and I once again brushed. This time, the lady got upset. "Young man, please hold the bar above." I said, "Okay, ma'am." I held the bar above. Once again, the bus started moving, and I started moving. And my fate, the driver applied brake. I once again brushed. The lady got really upset. "Hey, young man, why can't you stand properly?" I said, "Ma'am, either I can hold or I can stand. I can't do both." Right? Ah, my day is made because there is a visible shake in Aloysius, and he is laughing also. So, this is because I'm transporting you to my 10th standard, to the Pallavan Transport Corporation, to the sultry weather, to the stickiness around, the aroma around of the sweaty bodies, and what is happening to me. If not for the body language, if not for my gestures, if not for my simple words to set the context, and what is required for that speech. Don't say that Pallavan Transport Corporation, I got into 45B bus, the bus was a red color, and I got into the front side of the bus. All those are nonsense. You have to remove redundancy. In humor, redundancy is the killer. If you remove redundancy, you get a speech which is exactly what it is. People are not reading my speech now, they are listening to my speech, which means I can straight away get into a speech. In one such crowded buses, I was going one day. That's what, right? Which means I need to get into the speech. What are the minimum sentences required to bring in the context? So the context setting with minimum time spent with simplest of words and body language gestures is the best way to tell a story. So we saw that what is the science of humor? Build a crescendo, take it to the peak, twist it. The mind expects something, but it sees something. The anxious gets released as laughter. Second, find humor in your day to day life and use body language gestures, simple words, and a time. So, these are the simple things which you can have for humor. So, so how do I hone the skill of humor? Practice. Nothing but practice. Keep practicing, 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 practice. And nothing else other than practice will help you. Mm, is there any other way to do it? In clubs, you can start with a joke master, or when you are taking a role as a sergeant at arms, table topic master, master of ceremony, president, whatever role you get. If you want to develop your humor, don't leave your Toastmaster club. Take any role that comes. Every week, take some roles. Till you tell the audience, right, from next meeting, I am going to take up some role or other. I am going to crack some joke or other. Till such time a person like Aloysius decides to laugh when I come on stage, I won't leave you all. Take that, that grit should be there. Unless otherwise you are all focused on making a person like Aloysius laugh. He has to roll on the floor and laugh. Don't bother about breakage. Let him roll on the floor and laugh. Right? I am only saying unless otherwise you are focused and committed to that learning, this won't happen. Right? What do I do? Let me share. You can start with one-liners. This I saw when I went to US for my Toastmaster conferences. Um, there's a uh, put in the hotel. All the water in this hotel have been personally passed by the general manager. Right? This is one-liner available. The second one-liner is toilet under repair. Use the floor below. Right? And this, when I was moving from a place like Chennai to a place like UK, US, and you have 1 week stay, and you take minimum clothes. So you used to use the laundromat. So I don't know what was laundromat in the first place. We used to go to the backyard of our house. There'll be a well, pull water from the well and wash your clothes. Laundromat and all, no concept. So when I went to a laundromat, I found this thing: when the red light grows, drop your plants. When the red light glows, drop your pants. I was holding my set of clothes and looked at the attender there. That person said, "Boss, don't look at it. Put this into this." I said, "Okay." So I am only saying, start with these one-liners. One-liners will help you to bring in humor. Correct? Try it. If it doesn't work, don't worry. No, go to the next one-liner. Correct. Many times people don't get it in the first place. So try to, because you have to also bring that getting the context. Um, so uh, if you have to be, I don't know how much more time I have. It's 11:30. Mahesh, can you tell me how much time I have?
15 minutes more.
15 minutes more. So just to sum up, if I have to be very simple about what I said for last half an hour, um, can you be simple, be spontaneous in your life? Learn to laugh at what you do than what you are. Many times we are worried about what we are rather than what we do. So if I start laughing at what I do than what I am, then I start enjoying myself. Be spontaneous. Don't have a serious life. No? If you want to express it with your heart. Because I saw at the beginning of the meeting when the PQD Satish Menon gave a wonderful talk and Aloysius was summarizing. He was saying that was a wonderful, insightful session, Satish. We really enjoyed. So I was wondering, what is this guy? Where is that wonderful? Where is that insightful? Nothing is happening. Boss, can you really express what Satish said? Satish, it was a wonderful session. Yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly. It may be a lie, but tell it correctly. Nah? But why are you making the lie very evident by having a serious face? It was very wonderful session and you are making it evident. So tell a lie in such a way that Satish will feel happy about it. I'm only saying, be spontaneous in what you want to say. The more spontaneous you are tend to make as much mistakes as possible in life, and that is your storehouse or inventory for you. That's your personal story inventory for future humor. Correct? If you are having a very strict framework life, nothing happens. You are very perfect. Where will you laugh, man? You have to make mistakes, stutter, stammer, falter. If you don't do that, there is no way you can laugh. Correct. So I'm because I was actually wondering when Aditya was speaking, a lot of people's what do you call audio got unmuted. I could hear somebody saying, "The alamana patharathalla nama balcony la vechillama." Somebody was saying, "Can I keep all the washed vessels in the balcony?" It was coming suddenly in Aditya's session. Okay, I wanted to actually unmute myself and say, "Please keep it." Okay, I'm only saying, but uh, uh, because this is how humor is all about, right? நான் நாளைக்கே வரேன்னு சொன்னேன்ல ஏன் நீங்க வரேன்னு சொல்லு one more voice is coming. Aditya doesn't know whether to evaluate that or evaluate somebody's question. I'm only saying let all those things be there as part of your spontaneous life. all the disciplined life will kill the humor, right? Say, as such, a person like Aloysius laughing is very frugal and far and few in between. And when you unmute and laughs, that joy is also lost to people like me. So my only thing is, let's be spontaneous in our life. Let's enjoy life as it is, and that's where humor is all about. So thank you, District 120. If there are any questions, I'm ready to answer now. Any questions from you for your? I am with you all to take up the questions. And I prefer the questions in the audio mode rather than the text mode. I can't look at multiple screens. I'm device challenged. So so please help me, a device challenged guy, by asking your questions by unmuting. So somebody can help these people to allow participants to unmute themselves. It is already there. So you are allowed to unmute. Please unmute and ask your questions, please. You can't hear me? No.
Yeah,
You you can unmute.
Sundar, my question is, the recent times people are overwhelmed with online meetings, and almost 90% of the audience, they switch off their video and they keep their audio on. So which should be the other way?
No, people
Yeah, in that
like me should keep their video off and audio on. People like you can keep your video on and audio off because you look beautiful. I don't look like that. So there is a slight difference that way. Now, what is your question?
how do you get audience response, especially when you are giving a humorous speech? Unless you see the facial expressions of the audience, it's difficult to move on, right?
See, generally, when you start giving a speech, you are narcissistic in your approach. You put a speaker view or the spotlight is thrown, you see only yourself. Okay, you've seen you enough. You don't feel like seeing yourself again. So you have to essentially put it in a normal mode or in a, what do you call that, panel view, and look at all the people. If all the people unmute their video, it will be nice. So that they'll be able, they can share their reactions to the speaker. Audio is a problem because you get all these things. சாப்பிட வரையா இல்லையா அம்மா சாதம் கொடு பால் பொங்கிடுது பாத்திரம் வெளியில வைக்கணும் ஸோ ஆல் தோஸ் திங்ஸ் யூ கெட் டு ஹியர் ஸோ த ஸ்பீக்கர் வில் நாட் நோ பொங்கின பாலை கேஸ் அணைக்கிறதா இல்லை வாட் இஸ் தட் யூ ஆர் சப்போஸ் டு டூ ஸோ தெர் இஸ் அ லாட் ஆஃப் டிஃபிகல்ட்டி வென் யூ கெட் ஆடியோ ஆன் பிகாஸ் ஆல் தி அன்வான்ட் inputs will come to the speaker and he doesn't know to continue his speech or respond to the audience. Video on is okay, audio on difficulty. This is a what do you call inherent difficulty of the medium. We can't have a big what do you call screen on our house to see all the people. Everybody cannot have that. Many people hook on their mobile.
Ramesh, my question was, when audience are refusing to unmute their video and in spite of a continued request, then you have a challenge, right? So you are not connected with the audience. That disconnect makes you.
You understand what is their challenge by unmuting their video. Okay, so you have to be sensitive to the audience problem also. You are got up, dressed, decked up, and all those things. How other people are, we don't know. In what position they are there when they are hooking onto this, we don't know. Why do you want to get shock of your life on a Sunday morning? Just enjoy what you, whomsoever is in the audience in the screen, see. Some people like Karthikeyan or Shivakant, they are all only putting their photographs. Chandrasekharan, my good friend Armugam, though he has a very bright head, he puts only the photograph. So I'm only saying allow it to happen, because what state we don't know. So it is better to you save yourself first. First selfishness, save yourself, then go to altruistic of seeing others. Any other questions? Yes,
sir. Is it true that I mean, we always thought that body language and voice modulation plays an important part in humorous speech. So in online, how do we give us some tips on how to manage those?
Who is asking? Voice alone is coming.
Like
okay,
you
fine.
told Sundararaman sir, do you really want to have a shock? So I miss some.
Okay, fine, madam. No, please. No. One way shock is enough. So two way let's not have. So my suggestion to you is, see, you saw me presenting my speech in terms of body language gestures. Generally, when the laptop, when we get onto a call, we think we have to sit, because this is how we sit in the office, right, in our cubicles. Today I learned something from Aditya to stand and give an education session, right? Generally, I will also sit. When you sit, after a few minutes, your legs become numb. You do like this, you do like all those dances you do in changing the leg, and the audience will not know what this guy is suffering from. Okay, so my only thing is it is better to stand. If you want to have your body language, please stand 3 feet away from your laptop. Of course, have a better mic than what I have today, and speak standing. Then you can have your body language, because don't get confined by your laptop to a table as we do in our office. Assume the audience are 3 feet away from you. It's better to keep the audience 3 feet away from you. Even if they are angry with you, for them to come and hit you, 3 feet is a safe distance. So it is better to have a 3 feet distance from your audience and then speak. So then you'll have your body language, because you get a sense of speaking in front of an audience if you're away from the screen. Correct? I don't know whether I've answered.
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much.
I have to thank you, madam. You didn't give me a shock. I'm happy. Yeah. Any other questions, please?
Distinguished Toastmaster Ramesh, I have a question. My name is
Yeah.
Samir and I'm from Chennai Communicators Club. And the question
Okay.
is really on what you're doing on screen. So you're very spontaneous. You have so many jokes, so many one-liners. But as a humorous speech contestant, how do you put all of them together so that they are delivered fluidly as a part of a story on the stage? So I'm saying in our lives, whatever we see, you are asking us to look around and find humor in everything. We can find that, but those are fragmented humor. They are sitting at different locations. How do you combine them into a cohesive, nice speech? I'd like to get
First,
your viewpoint.
first create a personal story inventory of your embarrassments or the times you have made a fool of yourself. First, to make an inventory of your life. I looking at you, I know you would have made enough inventory will be available with you. Okay, so first write all the stories. Okay, then you will find a pattern in some stories. You'll find a pattern in some stories. Then that pattern can be a unifying theme for your story, for your speech. So if you look at me, some things you have to add, but mostly, like I had a event, what do you call, incident in my school, second or third standard. Then I had an incident in my uh, college days, initial my BSc first year, second year days, and I had my event sometime later in my working space. So I looked at all the three when I wrote the entire inventory. I looked at three and found a unifying theme, right? So the incident that happened in my school days was what I lacked in height, I compensated in mischief. Okay, so in my school days, second standard, my maths teacher was writing on the board, and suddenly she turned around and said, "Stop talking." I said, "Okay." Children, not second standard child, what they will understand. Once again, the maths teacher writes x such that x element natural number. Who knows all those nonsense? So she writes something in algebra, and we keep talking. Somebody is saying we don't understand some nonsense, something we are speaking. Once again, she turned around. Ramesh, you are talkative. Stand up on the bench. I immediately stood up. Then she started writing again. Then she turned and I asked you to stand up. I said, "Boss, I'm standing already. What do you can? Beyond this, I cannot do." Correct. So this is. Then I went home. I was so upset. People are not believing my truth. Even when I'm standing, people say you're not standing. So I went to my grandmother and I told her, "Pati, people are not believing. I'm so sad. I'm short." She said, "Don't worry." She dragged me to my father. My father's name is Krishnamurti. So he used to call Krishna. "Krishna, you have to do something about your son." He looked at me. "What do you want to do for this guy?" No, since you gave a piece of paper, advertisement, which was Complan, a giraffe standing and a Complan, right? It says complete planned food for growing children. So he gave the paper to my father, and said, "Read it." My father said, "Complete planned food for growing children." He said, "Amma, this is for growing children. He is already grown up. This is the maximum he will grow." Then somehow, so I'm only saying these small things should have happened in your school days. You have to only put it together, right? In my BSc days, the prevailing hero was Kamal Hassan, right? He was so fair guy. Everybody would like to be fair like Kamal Hassan. And most of us will be, Chennaites will be very bright. You have to search for people when they are inside a dark room. That's the sort of brightness we all have. Okay, so I went to my grandma, see, I'm dark, I want to become like Kamal Haasan. And she said, okay. In those days, there is no Fair and Handsome, only Fair and Lovely was there. So she bought a pack of Fair and Lovely and said, apply. So I applied. I went out. In the sun, it started sweating. So I came back and told my grandma, it's sweating a lot. Don't worry, when you sweat, the old back skin will go off and the new white skin will emerge. She thought after the snake, I am the only guy who can shed skin. Okay, so I am only saying, you have to bring in small events like this and how these things made a meaning to your growing up years. So you can link all these things. Hope I have answered your question. Any other question there? Mahesh is already showing red. Before he becomes red, we have to close. He's showing red. And slowly Alash's face is going
Why
from smiley
why
face
people find it difficult?
to what?
Why people find it difficult to give humorous speech? Why normally why humor is difficult?
Because you are worried whether people will laugh or not. Say, when you are speaking something humorous, you want audience to laugh. Correct. So if they don't laugh, what will happen? That is your worry. I am saying nothing will happen. You proceed with your speech. You make it as an inspirational speech. So Toastmasters, this is what I want to inspire you all with. You complete the speech like that. Who is going to know? I am only saying we are invariably worried about audience not laughing at your speech. Once you complete your speech, you have written a humorous speech and they are not laughing, convert it to inspirational speech. This was one of the finest inspirational speech I can think of. You conclude a speech. So try it as much as possible. I think somewhere you need the connect is a difference, which makes a difference. Context setting is a difference. If you see Lucille Ball, Charlie Chaplin, Nagesh movies, or your Relangi, or your Johnny Walker, all these people movies, you will find how they present humor. So that is one way humor gets into you. I think I have come to the end of the session. Thank you so much for having me on a Sunday morning. It was nice to meet all of my old friends here. Thank you so much, and back to you, Master of Ceremony, Aloysius.
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster T.K. Ramesh. I take the privilege in saying we enjoyed your dangling earrings. They look beautiful on you now. Someone who lives humor, shares humor, and speaks humor. All of us enjoyed your speech and also understood how to emote ourselves in a humorous way for the upcoming contest season. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. My friend Armugam is ready just now after getting up, so he has announced his arrival by switching on his video. Thank you, Armugam.
Thanks, Anna.
Back to you. Any of you want to contact me, help you in mentoring a humorous speech, you can feel free to send it to me. I think Selva, Armugam, or somebody will have my mail ID. I'll be definitely happy to help you in your humorous speeches. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anna. Thank you.
Request everyone to submit the feedback on distinguished Toastmaster T.K. Ramesh's session. The URL is shared in the chat window. Please submit. We'll take a couple of minutes in sharing our feedback.
I am in a dilemma whether to sit. If I sit, I will not be seen. So I'm standing for some. So that is the. Hopefully, I'm standing. Okay. Joe, how have you been? I'll take this opportunity to speak to Joe because I have not spoken to my friend for a long time.
Fine, I'm fine, boss. Fine,
Very nice.
doing fine. You have gone one full round. I'm starting now.
No, I am round all over.
I'm also. That's why I'm sitting and showing only my neck. Thanks to this lockdown, I've become perfectly circular.
Okay.
Partial circularity to perfect circularity thanks to lockdown. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you,
Happy to see
everybody.
you. Happy to see you.
Bye. Bye.
We'll take one more minute filling the feedback. Yeah, post this, we'll take a 5-minute break and come back at 11:55 sharp.
If you can use this break to ask any other questions also, you can ask. You need not cut them off, because generally when you have a TLI one-to-one, we use this time to have a fellowship and speak to people, say hi to them. And I couldn't come to Chennai for last 5-6 months because of lockdown. I don't know whether I'll get a pass back or pass going. So it's one opportunity for me to say hi to my friends also. So while the meeting may start after 5 minutes, which Mahesh will inform and Aloysius will come and start the session, we can use this time to chit chat if you have any other questions.
Ramesh?
Yes, Neena.
Good morning. Thank you for that session. My question is, what do we do at contests when people take a whole lot of jokes from the internet or WhatsApp and use it for the contest?
See, that is the problem of judges. If you are an audience, if you can laugh, please laugh. Because judges will anyway mark them down for lack of originality. And for me, while the contest winning or losing with the judges, for the participant per se, it is one way of exploring his humor sense. And I like what Mr. Rajshekhar was asking me. That is one way to try your whether you can crack humor on a larger audience. So the one way to start is start with some jokes. Maybe you'll not win the contest. At least if one person laughs, at least you know what makes that person laugh or what don't make others don't laugh. At least you'll get a thing. So if you are a judge, you have a difficulty. You have to mark them down. But if you are an audience, at least you can laugh. That is the perspective. And as a Toastmaster, I feel that is Toastmaster gives me a stage. So I go and use the stage to share some jokes as a humor, because I don't know how to write my humorous speech from my life. Maybe that is what I should get mentored from my mentors. Mentoring, that is why is very important. You go to your mentor and get your speech mentored, and he will tell don't use jokes, which is already there in internet or WhatsApp. So a mentor will guide you, but if you don't want to go to your mentor, you go on stage and do something and don't win the contest. So this is what I feel at the end of the day.
Yes, but if the audience laughs, doesn't that come under a good audience response? And the
You will get, but original content development and other things, that is another problem for a judge. If audience laugh, another problem for the judge.
Yes.
So it's all judge's problem, not the audience.
I'm asking because everyone is geared up for the contest, so they want to know what works and doesn't work for the contest.
Yes, yes. Any other questions?
Hi, can I?
Yeah, you spoke already, Joe. You cannot.
No, I have a question, but serious question. What is the cat? Sorry,
no,
I am
serious
not
question not allowed in this session.
No.
Serious question not allowed.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
No, I just wanted to ask, how about side comments in humorous speech?
What side?
Side comments, pour up on the way, tongue-in-cheek humor. Just to say something serious, just to fire sideways.
See, depending on what you want to do with your speech. If that side comments helps you to add impact to your speech, you say it. Otherwise, you dilute your own speech. Correct. So you decide what you want to do with your speech. Correct. You dress up nicely and don't comb your hair. It's like that.
Yeah.
If you're not combing your hair, and not combing your hair is part of your dress sense, it's fine. Like today, you find youngsters doing like this, then they do like this. So if it's a part of your style, you do it. Otherwise, don't do it.
Thank you.
Yes, madam.
Yes, this is Jayanti here.
Yes, Jayanti.
Do you believe in this generalization that men or male gender is more humorous when it comes to contests or anything, rather than women are very serious? Have you seen women humorous speakers, and how did they develop that sense of humor? Or
say, for all the humor I have, I should give credit to my wife only. So.
Take credits of the other.
Then I'm saying. No, if you find in Toastmasters itself, only now you find a lot of women coming in and joining as Toastmasters. When we started Toastmasters, not many people were there. Actually, people should come and join. I find there is no difference between a man and a woman in terms of humor. It's only a question of how you present your thoughts. The minute you know how to present your thoughts, you are as humorous or more humorous than because you have enough inputs to share with the audience. Correct. You have observed all the dumb guys in your life, so you have enough inputs to share. So you can become more humorous than a man because he is so self-centered. He cannot even look around him. Whereas women are more perceptive and sensitive to themselves and the environment. So they have Nina Jan doesn't agree with me. What nonsense she's saying.
Absolutely.
I know.
I totally disagree.
I know.
I'm like, I'm so tired of these spouse jokes and.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not even getting it spouse. I'm only saying women can be equally or more humorous than men. There is no
I think
limiting
it's an
to.
individual trait. It's an individual.
That's what I'm saying. You have to practice it. That's all.
Male or female about it.
Yeah, yeah. Vignesh Raja, I saw you yawning. You cannot escape. Okay.
The problem of having a video on.
Heightened global speaker view.
Any other questions or any other thoughts you want to share? Anybody has any other questions? You can ask. It's nice to interact with you all.
Okay, one more thing with reference to, is anyone else asking a question? Otherwise,
No, don't. You take your chance.
yeah,
Take 2 more minutes. Yeah.
Okay, one more problem that we have is a lot of people think humorous speech and they confuse it with stand-up comedy.
Yes.
So you have a lot of sex jokes and, very those kind of jokes. So what do we do about that?
It has to be some sort of in Toastmasters, when you give a speech of 5 to 7 minutes, it is not a concoction of individual jokes and making it as a humorous speech. Can we have some underlying theme to your speech, underlying link to your speech? Can you bring it like that? Because that is why in Toastmasters, in your project 3, now there is no project 3 or competent communication manual, you have only pathways. In your project 3, in your earlier thing, you'll have transition from opening to main body, and within body among 3 points you have transition, and from the body of the speech to closure you have transition. So transition is so crucial, and that is how you can, when you don't have transition, become individual jokes which becomes a stand-up comedy. So if you have a transition built nicely, maybe you can have a meaningful speech emerging out of it. I think I need to stop here. Aloysius is giving me a stare, so it's better I. Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
Aloysius. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Thanks,
you.